My name is Philip Muliisa, and this morning it is such an honor to have you today to discuss, among other things. Just yesterday we had local council elections. 71,214 villages across the country. We do have new chairpersons, LOC1, and of course, needless to say that we had a bit of challenges in some of the areas, but conclusively and generally, it was a smooth process as per the Electoral Commission, as per the Uganda Police, and as per Government of the Republic of Uganda. I want to pick the thought, the opinion, the good, the bad, and what we think we can improve as we create the Uganda that we want from the panel that I do have. But also we do know that through last week, it was the inaugural National Cleaning Day. Every Ugandan out there contributed in making sure we have a clean village, a clean street, a clean school, a clean church, a clean home. And certainly we want to make an understanding of what this activity actually means for every one of us, but more importantly, from the thought of the youthful panel I have here today. Do we have it right? Is it going to deliver on what we actually need as Ugandans? Is it the right formula? And certainly 10 years later, 20 years later, shall we say that, oh, whoever proposed this policy did so well for the country, and we are very clean, we're very smooth, and we're a nation that when we speak about smartness and cleanness, we don't know Ugandans are very smart people, but even beyond that, the physical smartness, do we have the conclusive solution to the same? As we talk about those issues, we do know that a series of things have been happening and shaping the world, and including, yes, the election. We talk about the National Cleaning Day, we talk about that is an issue that has happened. But when you move on the outside, we do know that negotiations are still underway between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran. The back and forth, the exchanges are continuous, and certainly we do hope by the end of this week we should have some good news from the two warring parties, and to see that normalcy, peace comes back to that region. Negotiations still between Lebanon and Israel are also underway, and we are looking at how progress is going to be at that level, especially knowing that we now have a ceasefire in place. We do know that diplomats from the two nations are still meeting in Washington this week to partake more of that discussion to see what they create for the two nations, but also conclusively getting peace still in the Middle East. And away from the Middle East, we do know there are updates from the war in Ukraine, and there are indicators that sometime soon we should start negotiations between the Russian Federation and the Republic of Ukraine. And indicators show that President Volodymyr Zelensky and Vladimir Putin are looking at sending their delegations to kickstart the conversation. In the United States of America, just through the weekend, we saw the funeral of longtime Senator Lindsey Graham, and what the many words have been said, including from President Donald Trump, reminiscing the history of the 2016 Republican Party convention and the interaction that was not very friendly at the time, but what shaped the very great friendship for the two gentlemen. That and more is what is shaping the outside. But when we come back here, how does Uganda get into all that, and what do we even mean at that particular level? Before we get into the detail of the conversation, I will invite my panel to say hello to you, and certainly we should kickstart the conversation. I will start from my extreme right. Gentlemen, you're welcome. Say hello to the viewers.
Well, good morning, and my name is Jacob Junior Munghesi, and I'm very glad to be here. When I received the invitation, the first thing that came to my mind was, what are we going to discuss about? And when I saw the topic, I was so much happy, I must say, because it was indeed falling in things that I love most. I am a journalist and a communications officer, but also somebody who is very passionate about Pan-Africanism, specifically driven by the principles of Ubuntu, the values of Ubuntu. So regarding the topic, when I saw the topic and what I believe in, I was like, well, this is the right place and the right time for me to discuss things to do with community, things to do with humanity. You just hinted on something in your introduction on what's going on in Iran, what's going on in Lebanon. But these are things that are to do with humanity, things that are not so far from what is happening in Uganda. So when we talk of the Uganda we want, the Uganda I want, the one that you want, the one that the viewer out there wants, it must be Uganda that has humanity at the center. And discussing about the local council elections, talking about community cleaning, the National Day of Cleaning, these are things to do with humanity, things that are to do with I take responsibility as a citizen. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Jacob Munghesi Jr. And certainly we look forward to that contribution as far as this is concerned. We have a lady on the panel. Lady, you are most welcome. Say hello to the viewer.
Well, thank you so much, Philip, for the invitation and for hosting us on such a lovely program. My name is Akakunda. I'm an educator, secondary school teacher, English language and literature. I'm a passionate self-awareness enthusiast and an author of one publication, which is a novel, Wings from Ashes, that we are launching in August 15th. Yeah, I'm so glad, I'm excited and looking forward to the conversations that we are going to have here.
We are equally excited by your presence, Alan, and we congratulate you upon reaching that milestone. It is not a simple journey to author a book, and we look forward to it getting the best reception among the corridors of readers. But thank you for joining us, and certainly let us see what this conversation can become. And just next to me, gentlemen.
It's an honor to be here.
You're welcome. Please say hello to the viewers.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Fortunate Tumwesigye, a youth leader and an enthusiast in leadership, personal development, and growth. I'm the executive director of a national youth growth community called Destined Living Platform, and it's such an honor that we shall have a youth growth summit this very 31st of this month, where we shall be also discussing matters of growth, influence, communication, and soft skills that grow people to become who they are. It's an honor to be here to discuss matters of national importance on a program, The Uganda We Want, because all of us as youth, we want the best for our future, the best for the best, and it's an honor to be on this panel. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for joining us. You do hear the panel I have very energetic, big CVs, and I should say I look forward to becoming like they are, and I really need to work harder if I have to get to that level. We are very honored to have you, lady and gentlemen, and let me make you aware that we are here in partnership with the Interreligious Council of Uganda, and the Council of Presidents for the Interreligious Council of Uganda is aware, but also all the faithful across the nation of Uganda, from the Anglican Church to the Catholic Church to the Mohammedans to the Baptists to the Seventh-day Adventists, to all the faithful across the nation Uganda and from across the world listening to us, watching us, and the conversations we have here should be shaping not just what we talk about as the youth that I have on the panel, but also the nation, especially feeding into government policy, feeding into the law, and what should inform our nation going forward. And when I come back to you, and I'm going to start this way, we had an election yesterday in the country. I'm going to start with you, Jacob, here. You know, the youth across the country, severally you hear comments of, we are not involved, we are not listened to, we are not part of the decisions that are being taken. But you being a part of all that requires you to be present, and it requires you to qualify to be a part of that. Yesterday we had an election. You are going to take us to your village where you are. You're going to take us to your village, and you're going to take us to your village. Did you participate, and how did the exercise go from where you are?
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Philip, and Thank you for the question. In fact, the way you brought it, you want to first understand whether I participated or not. I must say that where I stay, I went to the polling station. I didn't know the contestants because I'd never seen them physically. Maybe because I don't really spend much time during that at home, but at least I had seen some of their posters, and at least in the night, you know, our LC ones in our places, especially in Kampala here, you always hear them like in the night giving you news and so forth. I went to the polling station, but I didn't vote. That's the fact. And this is why. And I think this is a challenge that many people out there, especially maybe the youth, not only the youth, but maybe even other people, even the elderly, faced in this election. You know, the mode of election that we have is, you know, you have to line up behind the candidates of your choice. And the thing to me is something that is going to limit very many people from participating, because I'm imagining Mr. Philip, we've met here today for the first time, and the moment you move out there and a contest, he also contests. There is a way you know, you'll be compromised. You'll be like, now who should I vote for? I've just met Jacob, I've met, you know, Fortunate, and you know, there is a way you feel like you will fail to decide, because you feel like if you vote for Fortunate, I will see and I'll be like, oh, I thought Philip was happy about the way he was speaking and maybe he would support me. But look, he's doing the opposite. And if you vote for me, the same thing will be on Fortunate's mind. And you realize that at the end of the day, if one of us goes through, there is a way, you know, I will feel like if I do anything, if I come to your office and I'm seeking your guidance, I'm seeking your support, and you don't give it to me, I'll be biased. In fact, even before I come, I'll be biased already. I'll be like, now, Fortunate went through. Now, if I go there, already I saw who the other one, you know, supported. If you support me and I feel that it's Fortunate to go through, you'll be biased. So I feel that there are very many people out there who didn't vote just because they felt it the way it was. Because I had a friend who was voting, and for him, the person he was voting for, when I was listening, because I had at least some of them speak, and from the way they were speaking, I could not support the candidate who was supporting.
So Jacob, and ideally you are questioning the mode in which the election is conducted.
True.
And in your ideal world, how can this election be conducted?
I believe that since we are a growing democracy, Uganda is a growing democracy, and if we are a growing democracy, we must benchmark and see how other countries are doing it. If you are talking of an election like the LC1 election, which is a very sensitive position in our communities, which is actually the most immediate position, the most immediate office that anybody in the village there can reach out to, and you make it seem like something small, because I understand we have very many schools right now, and that the mode of election is by secret ballot. If we can have that in a primary school, why not in this very sensitive position of the LC1? Now, for me, I see this mode of election as coercion. It's against the principles of democracy. I will not have the freedom to choose, the freedom of choice. In fact, I'll be forced to vote for somebody because a friend has voted for them, or because I feel if I don't vote for my relative, for example, if he's a part of the candidates, that is the way they will segregate me in class, I'll be discriminated, they will feel like I don't wish them well. So I feel like we should, if we want to grow democratically, then we must indeed also adopt the democratic principles and execute them.
You know, as I move to Allen here, an election is as much a democratic process as it is an economic process.
True.
And one of the things, yesterday the Electoral Commission and through the events leading to yesterday spent 56.9 billion shillings across the 71,214 villages. And I want to hear from you. You see, there is a series of activities currently that government has foregone because of budget constraints. Do we have the capacity to undertake a secret ballot poll at village level? And what is involved in there? Printing ballot papers. There are villages I saw that had, for example, 4 contestants. And those are for a ballot paper of 4 at village A, another ballot paper in the next village. The presidency, we have the same candidate across the country, so same ballot we are printing. But here, a different ballot paper for every village. Remember, we spent, we went close to $1 trillion in the general election. Now, do we have the same level of resource to invest, and is it worth it, if in your view?
Well, Philip, I will tell you that Uganda is very capable, the government is very capable, even the Electoral Commission is very capable of holding a secret ballot election. Why? You see, I feel like there is just no political will to do some of these things. The president keeps talking of decentralization of powers. This also has to be in the Electoral Commission. You said with the general election we have the president and the same ballot papers being printed. If it is the same ballot papers, we also have district electoral commissioners. We have them there. If we have the district electoral commission chairperson, the national Mr. Bewakama can decentralize the powers, give them to the district electoral commission officer or the chairperson. They are very capable of printing. They can be given a small budget. We don't need too much. We only have 71,214 villages on ourselves. Only that is something very small for this government because we have a lot of money. But like I said, there is no political will to support some of these initiatives.
Thank you. Alan, your village, take me there. How did you participate and how was the process in your observation?
Thank you so much, Philip. And allow me first to take you back into a little of the history of these LOC ones, because I believe that most of us, the 2000s, may not know where these originated. We were having Mayumba Kumi before the 1986 NRM coming into power, and these were guided or administered under appointed chiefs. It was appointment. And when NRM came into power, they came with resistance councils, RCs, in 1986. That ran up to like 1995 when they changed them to local councils that we are having now. And we've had a series of elections for these LOCs, though for LOC 1, it's been somehow delayed. We've been having constant political terms where we are not even voting these LOC ones. I hope we know that. There's a period when we even had over two political terms, when these LOC, I think from 2001 to around 2017, those are about 16 years. And if we are to look at the structure of local government and these local councils, we have LOC ones at the bottom line, like they are the ones with the direct contact with the citizens. I mean, the chairperson LOC one knows whose house it is, which the MP may not know. So you see that the government has a very direct contact with the ground through these LOC ones. Then from the LOC ones, we have LOC 2s. LOC ones are the village. Then LOC 2s, we go to parish or ward. LOC 3, sub-county, town council or municipal division. Then LOC 4, we go to counties or municipalities. LOC 5, which are the districts. So in that structure, you really see that if the government is really keen, it would even use these LOC ones as its great strong tool to capture the populace, the masses, the trust, to deliver services, which I think has not been done. So to come back to your questions and my analysis of what went, what really went, how
did you observe the events of yesterday?
So I really was registered as a voter in the village. That's Chuluhula, Nyawushozi, Biazo village, which I didn't really have the transport all the time to go and vote my LOC one. That is one. And also the LOC one where I stayed, that's Chikon 2. I had an opportunity to go there to observe, like my colleague has has said. And I want to also congratulate the chairperson that went through, Mrs. Sarah Natari. Congratulations on winning the elections. Yeah, but we still have trust issues. The government, like I've told you, there have been delays, and most of the people would not really value these LOC1 elections, so the turn-up was not really not good.
So Alan, as you congratulate the chairperson in Chikoni, look here, you are blaming government for delays. But even when government has chosen to come out and create time and find resources and have this election, you did not participate. Yes, you observed, I understand, but you did not vote, you did not stand. The panelist next to you equally did not vote, neither did he stand. And if I have 3 people and 2 of them, so 2/3, roughly I can conclude that the youth, based on this sample, 2/3 of them did not participate in the election.
Don't ask the third one.
And as we are creating the Uganda we want, and given my preamble of the youth are not involved, their voices are not listened to, do we still blame government for not listening to you?
Well, we are not going to keep on playing a blame game, that because I believe that the Uganda we want starts with us. And it's something we are not going to build just having a grand ceremony that, you know, we've celebrated and we've achieved the Uganda we want. The Uganda we want will start with us, the ordinary people, putting in action and working on extraordinary small things every day. Yeah, so it still comes to civic education, and it's something I want to really discuss and explain so well for the government and even for the citizens to understand that there's still need, we are not blaming the government, yeah, quote me well, but there's still civic education needed for us who are even educated. We've lost, you know, elections. I'm a teacher, and I always encourage my students to do reflection on what they've done, because reflection helps you to know, to measure. And why I'm bringing in the issue of delay is that elections are like reflections. If we keep on postponing the elections, and maybe we spend years without having these elections at the lower levels, like LOC ones, citizens are going to lose interest, and maybe we will think that these positions are really not mattering in the political structures of our country. So elections really help us. Consistent elections being held will help us to, first of all, assess the candidates that we've been having in those positions. Is this LOC1 chairperson that has served for 5 years really worth our vote again to be put to that very position, or should we vote another person to take up the position and serve us? And also, as Ugandans and Africans at large, we've not reached that political maturity that a person is going to line up in against you in a line, and you know that politics is me lining against you does not mean that I hate you or I'm against you. It means that I've seen potential in this person that I don't see in you.
All right.
Yeah.
Alan.
So until we reach that political maturity to know that politics is not a do or a die, and even those who have been voted against, when they go through, they really deliver to their best without having to look at doing a side eye like, oh, you didn't vote me. Yeah, so I will not work on your issues. Yeah.
Thank you. Fortunate.
Yes, sir.
Are we finally going to be fortunate on this panel to have someone that participated in the voting and take us there? Did you participate? But more importantly, what was your observation from the activities of yesterday?
All right. That's a very powerful question when we reflect on the Uganda we want still. Well, I won't differ much from the fellow panelists. I did not have an opportunity to vote as me because of where I'm registered is not where I'm currently. I'm registered as a voter in Chenjejo district, Katoke sub-county, Kijwiga village. Of course, I was not there. But where I am, I took time to travel, Lubaga division. I think I tried to reach around, as a concerned youth, I reached around 6 polling stations, observing, analyzing how the whole voting process is. Well, from my observation, one of the greatest scholars called Robert Cialdini writes a book called Social Influence, called Persuasion. In his book, he highlights a principle called social proof. We tend to make decisions based on where a large number of people seem to be. We tend to buy products of certain brands because we think everyone is buying that brand. Okay, naturally, we tend to be influenced where we see a large population of people falling. Now, one of the things that I analyzed based on that, I saw people lining up for this chairman, another for this chairman, and the third. But then in the midst, after observing that this person is going to win, people turn from this person to this person, right? The person whom they wanted to vote, they changed their mind in the last minute because they don't want to be on the losing side. They want to be on the winning side. Okay. So that was a very big challenge whereby people were based on who is winning now. I don't want to be on the losing side. Changing your decision at the last minute. Yes. So they were influenced to vote the people they never wanted to vote because they saw others are going to win. And nevertheless, most of the times we don't want to be on the losing side. So that was and that's goes back to the reason that the ballot, they were voting was behind the back. And then these are the most important people that we are close to. This is your sister, this is your brother, this is your wife, and I am the chairman. So it is very hard to be consistent to that. It's very hard to vote.
But Mr. Tumwesigye, look here. You see, I think it was Alan who told us that these are the people that are closest to us. We know them by name. They know us by name. We know that he lives here. This is his family. This is what he does. And they equally know us. Why is it difficult for members of that village to distinguish and say, Mr. Tumwesigye is better than Allen, and therefore let us line up behind Tumwesigye? Because it is always clear. There is always someone better. Even when we can all be graduates, but there will be a better graduate, and that is distinguishable at the village level. Why should that be a problem?
All right. There is a researcher says, some researcher says, in 7 billion population, you might find 1 billion that is always makes decision because others have made the decision. So even though the people knew someone very well, but at that last minute, people had to change their minds because they don't want to be on the losing side. So people were influenced by the winning side.
Is it the process or the mode of voting, or is it the people that are actually the problem to this?
So the greatest problem was on the mode of voting. Actually, I can concur with my brother. Ballot is still one of the most fundamental and best way of voting that would have been used. And the question is, does Uganda has resources or to fund? Because already 51 billion has been invested. I believe the government of Uganda has funds to support.
So unfortunately, as you said, the problem is that. For me, I would say the problem is we just came out of a general election. Presidency, parliament, excuse me, division mayors, councillors, etc. And even when we had the ballot, still, in fact, until now, courts have not been successful at concluding petitions as far as that general election is concerned.
It's true.
That is just petitions. I can provide a list of people that died in that election. I can provide another of people that were arrested in that election. I can provide another of people that lost their property in that election. I can provide another of people who are intimidated in that election. And a section of Ugandans say, we do not want to go back to that. And it even feeds into her desire to have these elections on a regular basis. And people are saying, if we can have one election in 10 years, maybe even better, because we don't want to keep losing our people. We don't want to be caned all the time. We don't want to go to prison. We don't want to have, business disrupted because there is a campaign somewhere. How do you respond to those people?
Well, it goes back to how much people understand the power of effective leadership. Choosing the right person for the right job who will accomplish the requirements for the best Uganda. Now, understand, in the last past election, people lost lives, people lost property, people lost a lot of things. But that was a very big general election where we have the MPs, where we have the president. And there's a lot of pressure and conflict, money influence, and all that. But this election, if it come in ballot, I believe it can bring more peace and easier way of making decision.
The kind of peace we got in the balloted 2026 general election, or the 2021 general election, or the 2016 general election.
So
is that what the peace you refer to?
Yes, the kind of peace I try to reflect here is at the local village, the way you see it, the peace can be there compared to election on the national level, where we are voting the president and the MPs. So the president and the MPs, it is different kind of election compared to the chairman and this one. There is a difference.
You see, you talk about an ideal leader, and there was a very big debate, and you've referred to a lot of philosophers and researchers. There was a debate between Aristotle and Socrates in the days, and one of them was arguing that we should always find that ideal leader, that special, perfect individual to lead our society. And the other was saying that, you see, it could take us 200 years before we find that individual. And in between there, before we get that particular individual, what do we do? And maybe even beyond that, how do we qualify, how do we identify that actually fortunate is that perfect individual in our society? Because severally we've voted for people, campaigned to us, and they promised us, oh, we are going to do this A, B, C, D, and it's deliverable and it's excellent. 1 month into office, they are just exact opposite of what they promised. How do we do that?
Yes, thank you for that deep reflection between Aristotle. One thing, there is a very big difference between leadership and politics. And that's the most important problem we are facing as Uganda. Some people are politicians, but still in a society where we have politicians, we have leaders. It brings a very deep confusion of who to select, who can represent us. Because for a politician has specific interests. It can be social influence, it can be money, most of the times it is money, status, and the rest. But a true leader is someone who really first is passionate about serving people and really deeply understands the problems of people. And over the years in Africa, we have seen some people who have stood up as leaders. If you refer back to South Africa, I've seen Nelson Mandela. Why is he referred as a leader? Because he represented people. He knew the vision, he knew the goal.
So he went through the politics.
He went through the politics. But in a society where we have politicians, there is a chance we can have leaders.
Thank you so much for that, fortunate. And you hear the conversation, very interesting, and certainly a lot of issues and matters to reflect on come on as far as we get the leadership we desire for the different communities, for the different spaces that we spend much of our time in. The Uganda we want requires that we reflect on those views and certainly draw recommendations for what should be best practice for every one of us. At this moment, the Uganda we want takes a very short break, and in it, we should be right back to discuss more of this, and in it, getting to the conversation around the sanitation of our beautiful country, Uganda, just after this.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Get through with the investigation.
We are trying our best. The doctors are really trying to. But the people that we think will help us are only taking advantage of the situation.
I don't get you alone.
Ẹ sì mọ òfin tó rọ̀ mọ́ wípé ìyàwó tí ká bí.
I see that you have no shame.
Are you ready to rediscover the beauty of Uganda, the Pearl of Africa? Join us every Thursday at 10 p.m. on Church of Uganda Family TV for the Pearl Show, your weekly passport to Uganda's most breathtaking destinations, vibrant cultures and hidden treasures. From the misty hills of Kabale to the world wonders of Maxon Falls, from local legends to untold stories of faith, heritage and hospitality. The Pearl Show is where travel meets inspiration. Experience the people, feel the spirit, only on Family TV, where every journey leads you closer to the heart of Uganda. Don't miss the Pearl Show, Thursday at 10 p.m. on Church of Uganda Family TV. Travel, discover, believe, Uganda.
I do thank you for staying with us through this edition of the Uganda We Want here on the Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Muliisa, Philip Muliisa, very interesting name in there, and many times there is a lot of conversation about it. Now, you know where it suits you, please use it there. Here today, we are discussing, yes, the local council elections. How did you see them in your village? Was it a success? Was it a failure? Are there things we need to improve as we are on this journey of creating the Uganda we want? But also later on, we're going to be discussing something to do with the sanitation of the Republic of Uganda. We do know that now we have a national cleaning day. People responded, others did not, but going forward, what lessons do we pick from there? What can we do better? Until today, I moved through a number of spaces and I could see that the garbage that was collected on Saturday in some of the areas is still on the roads and the streets. And how do we improve on that? How do we make it better? I had some of the institutions that were expected to collect it say, you see, we have been struggling in our limited capacity to collect what is collected when it is just about 10,000 or 20,000 people collecting. Now 45 million Ugandans collected garbage. what do you expect? And that and more is things we're going to talk about here. But ladies and gentlemen, and I want to come back to you, Jacob. Yes, the process is ending. Chairpersons are going to be gazetted. One of the things that came out through this election is that I saw people that we term as elites in some of the villages participating. I know villages where doctors actually stood. I know villages where lawyers stood. I know villages where journalists like yourself stood. And for me, that is looking into the future and having people that have an understanding, have knowledge, come out to make a contribution from the lowest level. And I don't know, what does that say to you? But looking into the future briefly, what do you see happening with this level of leadership?
Well, I think let me even use this very opportunity to first congratulate a fellow journalist, Solomon Seranja, for making it. In fact, I was very, very surprised when I saw him, in front on the line and as a candidate. I was very surprised. In fact, it took away what I first had in mind, the fact that the LOC1 elections do not require anybody to have academic qualifications. So I was trying to compare to see Dr. Solomon Seranja sitting on a committee with people that do not have, I'm not saying that it's bad not to have papers, because there are very many people who are not educated, but still can deliberate on issues and come up with even very better decisions than people who are educated. Sure. But before I talk about the future of journalists, there is something before we went for the break that you asked my brother here, Fortunate, and you were giving him the example of the very many cases, the case backlog that is still in courts due to the elections that we had, and yet was secret ballot elections. But I will also tell you that we shouldn't mistake simplicity and transparency, or take simplicity and transparency, over freedoms, or over what people would have done in the right way. I will tell you that if we say that the secret ballot that we had, had very many cases go to court. We also had the NRM primaries, and people had very many cases arising from the mode of election that they had, which was lining behind the candidate. We had very many people being killed. We know of a fact what happened in the former Honorable Theodore Sechikubo's region. Remiaga. We know what happened. So you cannot say that this mode of election is independent of such issues. They happen, and we also were seeing on the news yesterday, people were fighting. So we shouldn't take the mode of election which is lining behind the candidate, which allows for simplicity and transparency, if I may say, but shouldn't come at the cost of what has to actually be done. I shouldn't be coerced to vote for somebody I don't want to vote for. I know of a polling station somewhere yesterday where I went, and in Kansanga, where one of the candidates, after seeing there were a few people behind him, he decided to run away. And these things only happen in schools. They used to happen back then in schools when we were voting for class monitors. When they say, who supports Jacob Jr., who supports JJ, and only a few people. When you said that, you were like, madam, please, me, I no longer want. I don't want. No, it was a mistake. So such things, that is the way they undermine the values of democracy. They undermine what exactly has to be done. So that aside, to go to the question that you asked, that yes, they are going to be gazetted, but then what should we expect? I hope that was the question. What should we expect? Of course, we have to expect a lot, because the reason why we go into polls to vote for leaders is because we believe that there are things they can do for us that we can't do, or we are sending them as our representatives to talk on our behalf, to execute, to make policies on our behalf, but also execute policies on our behalf. But the biggest problem or challenge that we have is that very many of our leaders, especially in Africa here, they take those positions to be positions of privilege, not positions of servant, of service. So, and because of that, you realize that these LOC ones that we voted for, very few of them are going to work for the people. But very many of them are going to work for their stomachs or tumbo, as I read somewhere. So because of that, we shouldn't, I think, expect too much. If we really want to expect too much, then we should have maybe, we should accompany it with prayer. Accompany the high expectations with the prayer and the belief. As believers, we must believe.
For
even
God
that's
and my country.
Yeah, true.
Alan, you see, I have heard people who say that because of the centrality of the local council seat, maybe we should think about making it non-partisan. And to that extent, knowing that if we have a neutral chairperson, of course no one is neutral ideally, but if we do not attach that people must campaign, must stand as members of a particular political party, then it eases the delivery of service on the village. Because remember, we do know, like you mentioned, this is a person that is known and he knows all of us.
Yeah.
And one of the things the chairperson does is giving recommendations to get services, government services, even some private services, in education, financial services, etc., etc. And if we attach political sentiments to the same, it could affect who gets the service or not get it based on their political party. What do you think about that?
Now, I really believe that being politically leaned to a political party is just something that comes from right within you. It's something that is within you. So no matter how we are going to make these political positions, LOC ones, when we are having a multi-party system of governance, we are going to still have these challenges. And if it's something that I already talked about in my previous submission, that there's having a person who's a leader. I think it's also fortunate, recalled on it. Being a leader does not come with just a position. It's just within you that you're a leader, you're here to serve, you're here to understand people's problems, you're here to have the maturity to know that Philip is Noop, I'm NRM, just giving an example. Yeah, but our political differences do not have to come between my delivering a service to him and him being a very good citizen in my village. So really making these political positions non-partisan has nothing to do with service delivery. We will need to reach a maturity, a political maturity, to know that this person is not from my party, but I'm their leader. They chose me. This person didn't line up behind me, but they chose me. I'm the chairperson of this village. I'm NRM, I'm Noop, but I have obligation and a responsibility to serve people, no matter which political party they are belonging to.
All right.
Yeah.
And Fortunate,
Yes, sir.
as we conclude on this topic, you see, we have to move on as a country.
Yes, yes.
And the challenges were there. The good things also happened through the voting. When you look into the future, since 2017, this is 2026, and she mentioned 2001 to 2017, that duration. I am not sure we shall have another election in 2031. We have to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. The leadership that we get, we do know, for me, the important element here is that we did not put qualification. It didn't matter whether you went to school, for example, or not. You just had to be a citizen and a resident and above 18 years of age. And do you see this have any impact on the kind of leadership these people are bound to offer to the village?
Well, that's a powerful, nice question. First of all, I will begin by saying yes. There will be a very big impact for the newly elected leaders to their communities. Because first, these people have stood up, have raised their voice, to stand and offer themselves for their villages, for the world, and promise to serve. Standing on that view, that gives first basis that these people will benefit their communities. Number two, well, the LOC1 chairpersons that have persons who have been around for around 10 years. Probably some have been serving and some have not served. Yes? Still, in the same situation, we shall have some effectively serving their people with one heart, and we shall have in some areas where they won't fully serve. But from my understanding, around 70% of the new elected will have impact in their new societies.
You see, I am looking at a chairperson that is, because this is the chief executive of the village, and the nature of actually that seat is that this person has both executive authority, legislative authority, and judicial authority. Now, imagine a situation, village, the Uganda we want, and you have a person who cannot write, neither read, and they have to sit as a judicial officer, they have to sit as a president, they have to sit as a member of parliament to pass, because, for example, a chairperson LOC1 can sit you before their court and pass a judgment, and that judgment is registered even at court level, and it is respected. A chairperson LOC1 can say, we are Mr. Tumwesigye, fortunate you are no longer welcome to this village because of reasons A, B, and C. Please find room elsewhere, and you will go. A chairperson LC1 is in charge of a budget at the village. We do know that now the new Local Government Act gives them power to manage some resources. This is a person that has never looked at a bank account, doesn't know how they account for money, but he's in charge anyway. It's his signature.
Okay. So that's a very nice question. I will answer it in three sections. Number one, when you study the past leaders, LOC1 chairperson, who have been in charge in the last 10 years, most of them have not been really educated. Most of them are these people who have been in village, they understand their village, they understand their people, they have been there, they understand the issues, they have gone from there, and they understand who is bad and who is right. They have not been educated, but they have served well compared to the current new elected LOC1 chairperson, on average, if you observe that. So meaning this new election, the people in charge, even though there were no considerations of it must be senior 6 or senior or bachelors, but compared, at least this one, more people are educated are in charge. That's one. Does not head alone, has a committee, has defense, has secretary, has treasury. So on that seat, when we are leading the village, we are 7 people. If I'm not educated as a chairman of LOC1, there will be someone on my left, on my right, to help where I can't think or do purposely well. That's my second submission. My third submission. Well, we have gone on to think that because you have gone to school, because you have done a bachelor's, because you have done a master's, you can lead well. Well, on LOC1 chairperson or in leadership, that's kind of different. We have seen people who are really educated, they are embezzling funds like nothing. They are corrupt like nothing. They are not following values. They have no values. They have no morals, right? People are educated, but they are doing the opposite. So that does not mean these ones who are not educated are what and what. So the thing is, leadership is really about understanding your people. After understanding your people, understanding their problem. After understanding your problem, what's the vision? Yes. Number 3, knowing who to help, because you'll be there, the chairman LOC1, someone, let me say, local cases, they have stolen my goat. Of course, they will bring you the case. As a person who understand my village, I have X, Y, Z. Those are potential thieves who could have done that. We sit, we analyze, where is the committee. So I really don't see that too much education or not being education will affect. It all about understanding leadership, service, and vision for your community.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And certainly we do hear the views that are shaping this discussion today here as far as the election for local council leaders is concerned. And more importantly, we do congratulate all those of you that came out successful in the contestation, but also do wish those that did not succeed the best. You actually made a contribution, and certainly you should be a part of the progress of the different communities through which you reside. And I want us to shift gears and talk about something different again that required the participation of Ugandans. And I have, as far as the local council level election is concerned, fairly my panel participated, but negligible participation, I should say. And when I take it to the national cleaning, the sanitation is a matter that is so important to everyone at all levels, at family level, at village level, national level, and even international. And several we've seen ratings that talk about clean cities and clean nations and those that are not doing so well. And I want to really pick it from the good people I have here today. I'll start with you, Alan. You see, severally, culturally in our communities, cleanliness, smartness is sometimes associated to ladies because of the noble responsibility they have undertaken in our communities historically, at family level, at community level, but more importantly, because now, historically again, you are the people that had most of the time in the communities. It has now changed, but that is not what we are discussing
today. I was coming to that.
So I want to again, did you participate in the cleaning? That is the starting point. Because we don't want to judge when we are really in a position that doesn't allow us to. But too, when we look at the National Cleaning Day, is this one of the things Uganda is looking for? Is it, how relevant is it in today's Uganda?
Well, the National Cleaning Day was so abrupt. It was actually a very abrupt directive that we questioned. You know, Uganda, the Ugandan government and its citizens, it's like this exploitative relationship that has trust issues. So you wake up one day and this woman has been quarrelsome, and when you come back home, she has prepared food for you, and you be like, let's have a romantic evening. Be like, you want to poison me? So now our government and the citizenry have really trust issues that even when the program is good for the betterment of the country, we'll really question it. I remember this directive came around, it was like midday there, when they talked about it, and 6 in the evening, the amount of memes that was on media, my dear. And most of them were, if you could analyze, you would really see that there's mistrust. People don't really trust that this is a directive that has been brought to help them as citizens. There's one that actually blew my mind, that the Chirabika government official waliwe yayingidde business yenjeyo. Like, that's so something that we really have to. So the national,
I mean, Ugandans are happy people.
They are very jolly people. Yeah, that's true.
Interesting nation.
Yeah, we are generally a happy nation, and I think that's what is keeping us. We really would have run mad. Yeah. Away from that, the national General Cleaning Day, I think I uphold the government and whoever brought the suggestion to the table. It's really something that other countries have been doing, like Rwanda, they have Omuganda. I think they also do every last Saturday of the month. And I think it's something that we really do not have to embrace as just a day to clean. Because if I'm a person and I just wake up one day in a month and I'm brushing my teeth, is that really general cleaning? To me, I think Ugandans should embrace cleanliness as not just a day, as the very last Saturday of the month, but as our identity. Teaching children in school that you don't have to litter rubbish everywhere. having that instinct, building habits, just like the author of Atomic Habits, James Clear, says that we do not have to run to the levels of our goals, but build systems. So I think it's really powerful because it has worked for Rwanda. India has a Clean Up India mission. Singapore has. It's something that can really work for us, but to me, it shouldn't just be about the day. We shouldn't be waiting for that very last Saturday of the month to be clean as a nation. We should embrace general cleanliness just right from our bodies, our wall, landlord wall, the rentals, just dumping, throwing that wrapper or bottle through the taxi window. It should just be like you're in a taxi and you're throwing a bottle through the window and we all look at you like, what are you doing? It's when it's going to be becoming our identity. Like generally, Ugandans are clean and we are using the day as celebrating the day of cleaning our communities. But throughout the month, all the 30 days, all the 31 days, we are cleaning our environments. We are not littering the drainage systems. We are, our environment is really clean.
Thank you so much. And
I really cleaned.
She's doing a good job in trying to dodge that particular section of the question. But fortunate.
Yes, sir.
You see, one of the things Alan here mentions is the fact that we are at the top of the pyramid. Yes, we are talking about cleaning, but where does this rubbish come from? How on earth do we find rubbish in the compound of Parliament, on every street, near State House, everywhere, in the hospital, in the school, there's rubbish everywhere. And she's saying maybe we should start with informing people to stop dumping anyhowly. And I want to pick your thought as you tell us whether you participated. And
all right.
How do we manage this situation? Because it is a problem. It is usually in Kampala here when there is rain. One of the challenges we get is flooding, and the KCCA has continually told us that part of that flooding is caused by the garbage, the rubbish we dump everywhere, which goes ahead to block drainage channels. Therefore, the water is trying to find where to go, and it ends up in our shops, in our homes, and etc. etc. Take us there. What do we do?
All right. First of all, I did clean. I cleaned my area where I am. I cleaned my neighborhood, and also went on the roads.
The score is so far so good.
For this round, the score was good for me, and I think for the third person,
we just wait.
Sure. So, you know, I'm a medical student, and I'm a deep reader. So one of the health books I read, it's called Healthy Communities and Societies. The author highlights and says, health, community health, is mindset. Generally, when you bring the whole community, if you find the community is dirty, it's the mindset of the people. If you find the community is clean, it's the mindset of the people. So going back to your question, our society or our communities, it all depends on the mindset, health mindset of the people. You said you might find litter in the compounds of the Parliament or in my household. So it goes, who are those people that do that? Of course, it's us. If I find litter inside here, then it is you. And that shows the mental health or the health condition of the mind when it comes to environment health. So first, it is the people that are causing a poor environment. It is us, it is me, it is her. We have really neglected the condition of health, and also the government has also neglected the health education. First, we need programs that emphasize on health. Okay, like keep environment clean health programs, maybe on different TVs, different shows or promotions about health, so that it comes from the mind for people to be aware of the environmental health in their societies. Yes. So if people are not clearly aware, okay, of course we are aware, but deep awareness. Yes, deep awareness, consistent awareness. If I come and tell you today to clean your room, yes, you will know it. But if I tell you to clean your room, then you clean it daily. Over time, it becomes a habit. You know, in a book called James Clear, Atomic Habits, which my sister highlighted. So, cleaning or being health should be a habit. And how is a habit developed? Consistent doing of something over a period of time, it becomes a habit. Yes. Number two, like my sister said, it shouldn't be a goal by the government that now we're cleaning. Government should set up systems that encourage a clean mindset in Ugandans to a health, clean environment, and also funding health, community health on its own. You know, the government has funded a lot of things that to me, there's some things that have been funded by the government that don't really deserve that overfunding. For example, the expenditure spent on the parliamentarians. There's a lot of money allocated to the parliamentarians, to do this, the MPs and the rest. But some of that budget, if effectively funded into health, then we shall have a clean, a better Uganda, and the Uganda we want. So
thank you so much. Jacob, you see, Alan here called it abrupt. I've heard many people calling it arbitrary, and including members of parliament. Some of them say, why should you force us to clean? I saw some people had to be caned a little bit to participate.
That's true.
Some of them had to be driven to the station because they were refusing to participate. Government had to say you will not be allowed to do your job before you participate in the cleaning. And I want to hear your thought. First of all, our score is so far so good. I want to hear where you take it. Did you participate? But secondly, arbitrarily, abrupt, does it matter? Do we need this exercise?
Well, thank you, Philip. And I think this time round we are safe. Yeah, we are safe. I think I even first cleaned around the gate where I stay. And then I didn't go to the roads, but at least I cleaned around home, in my neighborhood and my own place where I stay. Yeah, so I think that one we were not disappointed.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. So to go to what Alan said and what other people say that it was abrupt and so forth, what I know is that this was approved last year in August.
That's true.
So if it was approved last year in August, I think the only problem is that the government didn't take the initiative to alert the people, because cleanliness is a mindset. This is a mindset that you are dealing with. I don't think any of you in the morning when you wake up, somebody has to remind you to brush your teeth. Your brain automatically tells you it is time to brush. It is time to shower before you go to work. Even actually, if you happen to be like, I should go to work before showering, you feel uncomfortable. So this is a mindset thing that we are dealing with. And if it is a mindset thing, then the government has to invest in mindset change. Because if you go to people, I talked to some of my colleagues, especially from Eastern Uganda. I was asking them on the very day of the cleaning, I gave them calls to ask whether they were also cleaning like us, because there is an assumption that some of these things that the government comes up with, the directives are only enforced in cities, in towns, in central here, and not in other parts of Uganda like Western, Eastern, and Northern Uganda, or even West Nile region. So these things, this is a mindset the government should have at least invested in it. If it was approved last year by the cabinet in August, that's a range of almost a year to now, from that time to date. So if you only wake up and you inform people on a Thursday that on Saturday you're going to be cleaning, somebody will be like, what? Even if somebody else loves cleanliness and they would love to do it, they will do it, but there are very many people who will go against it, not because they don't want to clean, but because you have brought it in a form of force. You're only demanding, you're not demanding us to do things, but you've not told us how important it is. I'm not saying that people don't know the importance of of general cleanliness. They don't know the importance of, sanitation. They do know, but they must know why you bring the National Cleaning Day. You cannot just throw it on them. Even I, Jacob Jr., human beings naturally, we are revolutionary. Human beings are revolutionary. They want explanation to everything. Even what they can see, they feel like they should oppose it. Why? They will feel like they have, as humans, they have the right to know. They have the right to understand. And therefore, the government, because it has the responsibility to inform, to educate, and alert us, they were supposed to do exactly that. And I'm sure they wouldn't have gotten any problem in enforcing the law. Because what I'm seeing, what I saw people being beaten, especially the youth who were beaten over not cleaning, that was not enforcing. It was forcing. There was nothing like you're enforcing the law, you're enforcing a directive. It is only enforcing a directive if the people were alerted and had time to understand. You had the time to tell them this is what exactly is expected of you. If you tell me cleaning, what if I'm living here and for me my brain told me you have to go and clean maybe the workplace and I'm at work. So my brain is like, okay, I should go and clean the workplace and not my place where I'm staying.
You see, Alan here told us that government of Uganda and its people have a relationship that is sometimes funny. And I want to imagine, because government is aware of that, it could have chosen to behave that way. True. Do you blame it?
I do blame it. I don't want to, like she said, we don't want to play blame games, but where necessary, we have to do it. If the government was in charge of doing something and didn't do it, we must blame it, because we are the people that put the government in power by the virtue of what, what's on paper, democracy. If we vote, we hold the elections and vote those leaders, we vote the president, the prime minister and so forth. Yes, they're appointed, but before they're appointed, they first went through the process here that put them into those positions. So we are delegating our powers, our authority to you, to lead us. If you're leading us, you must offer guidance. That's why we put you in that position. So they were supposed to come. The Minister of Health was supposed to do enough of the sensitization, enough of the civic education. They were supposed to educate people so that we wouldn't be playing these blame games right now. We wouldn't be saying, should we blame them or not?
Let me take you back a little bit. In the year 2020, 2021, we had a problem called COVID-19.
Yeah.
And government instituted a lockdown and curfews during some of the intervals. But guess what? In government trying to save Ugandans, you and I, from contracting the disease that could take our lives, and telling us, please do not shake hands, do not go into gatherings, do not... Police was landing on people in house parties. People was finding people in bars. People were told, please don't move at night, and at midnight you see people sneaking in the different road areas. And this is about health. Why should government trust those same people and say, please do it at your way? Will they actually participate?
Now, Philip, let's differentiate these two things. COVID-19 came and was an emergency that people were not even prepared for. That's the first thing. But I also believe that after a very short time, people began to understand themselves. Each time they saw on the news, so-and-so has died. So-and-so has died of COVID. There is a way, their minds started working, started forcing them to understand. This is the thing. This is now the routine. This is something that is happening. And it became part of them. Do you know that there are very many people before COVID-19 never knew the use of a mask? Or some of them had never even seen masks. So it came as something strange. We are seeing masks, and very many of them, up to date, it has become a habit. You find somebody with a mask, you ask them what is wrong. They're like, they can't explain to you, but because they're now used to putting on the masks. So can we have that same thing put into people? Because what we are doing here shouldn't be just about the day. That's a national cleaning.
Putting it into the people is forcing them to do it.
No. When you educate me, when you tell me this is what you're supposed to do and this is how you're supposed to be doing it, I'll go back. Like I said, we are human beings. I'll go back. I'll try to analyze. I'll even do self-introspection and be like, okay, this is what they're telling me to do. How important is it? They've told me it is important in this way, but okay, is this true? Like, I will adopt to it and it will become a habit. What I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't treat this as just merely a day, an activity. This should become a habit that is within us as citizens. Back then in primary, they used to force us to clean, to sweep the compound. Yes, then back then it was if maybe you come late or something like that. But you know, very many people adopted it. When they go back home, somebody in the morning is cleaning home before going to school. Because yes, at first it was not voluntary. It was some sort of you're forced, but you knew that if you went late, you're supposed to clean. But now it became a habit. People started, children started doing it. Even I personally, I think that's also what happened to me. And I started cleaning. I was like, okay, why should I only clean school and not home? Yet I spend more time at home in holidays than I spend like the other side. At home is where I sleep, things like that. So it became part of me.
I think you have eventually supported government. But I want us to come to you. See, Alan, look here. When you say the nation stops for 3 hours to clean, the banking industry stops, schools stop, transport stops, education, agriculture, all these sectors. There's a person that was concluding a business transaction and they have to make a payment through a bank that is now closed. There is a health profession, and I do know that there was a provision if you are an essential worker, quote unquote, please go and work. But the determination of who is essential and not essential at this level, I do not know. Because whereas you may call a doctor essential, I am also in the midst of a business negotiation that is worth 1 billion shillings. And at that point, that is the most essential bit of me. And maybe my business employs another 100 Ugandans. And it should be important for them. And I could be the administrator of that hospital. And through this transaction, I have to pay that doctor that you call essential. When I do not pay them, will they work? And by extension, and I'm looking, do we actually need to stop the economy that is as fragile as it is for us to deliver a public good as simple as cleaning the street?
Well, for every country to develop and reach a certain level of development that they desire, the Uganda we want, there has to be a cost to pay. And I believe it's going to be a shock for some business owners, for some workers, for people who are traveling. But we have to look at what other countries are doing. How are they doing it? You know, Uganda, Rwanda, the very last Saturday of every month, they also stop everything. Everything remains at a standstill and they do general cleaning of the country. So I think we need to benchmark countries that have made general cleaning as their identity and get to know how they do these things. And with time, I believe, like he has said, we are going to adapt that, you know, if I have a business meeting, I really have to schedule between this time and this time, because this is a directive and it has come to stay. If we really need Uganda clean, we have to be consistent. We don't have to skip the very last Saturdays of every month. Yeah, so there is always a cost to pay. We are going to first be in a shock as people who are not used to it, but it also calls for us to schedule what we are going to do. And for sensitive sectors like the health, there's been a directive. I also was questioning it. So if I've not gotten a chance to get maybe a medical, what do they call them? A medical, something like a document to help me travel. How am I going to? So I think the government will also, this has been like a pre-survey. So they will also go, I urge them to first go and assess.
SWOT analysis.
Yeah, they do. From the previous Saturday, they do assess how are this going to be possible. What if a person has just gotten sick and they do not access a medical document to help them move? If this person, I think they can put incidences where these are non-negotiables and they can be allowed. But for others, we will need to first pay a cost, which is a shock of not getting, because we've not been getting such days. But with time, like any other country, like Rwanda, like Singapore, like India, they have these days, and we are going to get used. But the best of all is not to just focus on the day. If we have our country, our streets clean throughout the weeks, throughout the months, I think we are going to even reach a moment, and these Saturdays we are having less to clean because we are going to be clean already. Yeah.
Thank you. And colleagues, our time is fast spent. Now we have 10 minutes here. And I want to hear we are going to share it amongst ourselves, maybe two or three. Fortunate, I will start with you. You see, a relationship that lacks trust, government and its people, Ugandans that choose not to participate, either because their political alignment tells them that government policy is intended to weaken you, your political party, or it is intended to sabotage your progress as a political leader because you do not belong. If we have to get out of there, we have to be practical.
True.
What is that in your view we practice today going forward to create that Uganda we are looking for?
Well, now, starting back from my friend's submission and adding up to this, the challenge, the National Cleaning Day is a very brilliant idea. Now the problem and why we should blame the government, or where the challenge comes from, that everyone must understand, it was an abrupt thing that came to the community, which made all of us look like, oh, what's this? What's causing this?
Maybe we should commend the government, because even as abrupt as it was, all corners of Uganda understood that it was happening.
Yes, it was happening, but,
so
the small
is excellent
issues
at communication.
So the small issues that are rising from, maybe it is a political trend, maybe people being forced to do this, people being biased, is because of that abrupt thing. The small issues are because of abrupt. So may I recommend the government of Uganda for any other programs that leads to change, to growth, to the really Uganda we would love really to be in. Always a part of mobilization to incur, to always happen. They would have informed us on every TV that the National Cleaning Day is happening on this day. If you have a business, complete a transaction before. If you have this, let it be done first at this point. So the mobilization, right, must be done at first, so that it can be effective, and it would be effective. But since we're already aware of it, the next cleaning day, I believe, to be a successful one. Yes, and number two, the cleaning has been just like in city centers, or it's not being strengthened. If we really want a clean Uganda, it should start with Chairman LC1s. How should it be done? LC1, every member of the community or family must have a representative in cleaning. Number one. Yes, the chairman must be highly involved. That's the point. Each family must be involved, whereby the chairman is responsible of at least having a representative from each community. Because if they say today is cleaning and half of the population remain in their bed, only half clean, then that's not cleaning. So they must involve really local council one into cleaning and seeing people are taking action. Then there we shall have a clear Uganda. But all in all, I'm a Ugandan. I wish you the best Uganda. I wish success for everything. And we shall be there, and we shall achieve the Uganda we want in God's name. Thank you.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Earlier on I mentioned that until today there are areas where you still find the garbage that was collected on Saturday is still present. But maybe I take you back a little to August 28th, 2024, Chitezi garbage landfill. People died. Police confirmed 35. about 1,010 displaced, property destroyed, animals killed.
Injuries.
What did we do after that? We secure another landfill in Entebbe, which got filled in about 3 months, and we secured another in Mbiji. Same process, same management. The question of garbage management in this country. Landfill after landfill. And several government has promised that they are going to get investors to invest in this and process the garbage into ABC. But we are not there. What is the problem? Are we just, yesterday I was talking to, just over the weekend, on another conversation that is not this, I interviewed 2 former ambassadors of this country to the United Nations, and they say to them the biggest problem Uganda has today is that we are refusing to use our brains. Garbage, filling it in a particular area which is going to get filled up anyway, it gives off a stench, flies everywhere, plastic mixed with organic waste. We have not found a solution. Is it so difficult that we cannot manage garbage?
Philip, I think you've asked me it at the right time and you've asked the right person that question. I happened to volunteer in a certain organization that deals in climate a few years ago, and we visited some of the schools that were trying to recycle waste. Now, the biggest challenge that we have in the country is that, one, we do not have clear systems. Whereas you're talking of trust, public trust, trusting the government, there is no way I can trust you if you don't show me that this is what I have put in place. You cannot say that you are having, for example, the National Cleaning Day, but you have not showed us or even put in place, because there is a difference between showing us and even yourself putting in place the systems that will ensure the execution is a success. We cannot have a National Cleaning Day and we have a lot of garbage in the country, but at the same time we do not have a clear landfill where that garbage will be collected and be disposed. So if you do such a thing, you do not have the landfill, but you're telling us to collect the garbage. We are going to collect it, but where is it going to be put? And that's the reason as to why the garbage is still now lingering on the streets. Streets are full of garbage. Even when you go those ends of Kansanga, garbage is there. I saw somewhere where people had to carry the garbage and put it in front of their chairman's house gate, because they were like, you're the one who mobilized us to gather this, so now have it. And he's also there, he has no answer, he has nothing he can do about it. So before you talk of implementing something, can you show us that you have the clear systems that would ensure what you're trying to implement is a success? Secondly, sometime back last year, each time I used the taxis in the old tax park, or even the new tax park, there was I think it was a directive that these taxis had to always have something, or like a bag that people would dispose the waste into. And each time you could enter the taxi like this and buy something, or even a soda or water in a plastic bottle, you could dump there afterwards. But do you know how it went? It's because it was not a habit, and that's what we were talking about. The other thing, Uganda, if we are to say want this to be a success, we should be having examples. For example, trash cans around the city here, but how many are there? If we only moved around the Kampala Road, go to Ginger Road, or even go to this Gaba Road, how many trash cans shall we find on the roadside? People will still dispose the waste wherever they find it. Somebody said it before that some time back, that you see the cleanest city or community is not the most cleaned, but the least littered. Yeah. So if you want this to be a success, can you look at preventive measures rather than waiting to say we have the trash now? Now this is what we should do. We have the garbage, now this is what we should do. Teach people how to do it. Let us prevent it. Let us have the cans. If it is plastics, this is why you're supposed to dispose it. This is why you're supposed to do it. What you're saying, the ambassador is saying that we do not want to put use to the brain. It is very true, because personally, I was thinking, the time I used to move around in those schools, I thought of why shouldn't schools have waste management as even a subject? That students are taught how to reuse and recycle waste. That people
we have to handle, you don't speak, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can be integrated into chemistry.
Even if you're not integrated, this is a big thing, because and it's good now that even they're now implementing the competence-based education training in universities too. But the problem is they will not bring such important course. It should even be a course unit at university for people who are doing maybe like industrial chemistry or doing some of those
health.
Or public health. Do such a thing. Waste management. Let's see how people can reuse the waste. How can we recycle the waste? How can we reuse it? Like, these are things that should be taught to the people. You were talking of this issue, like, shouldn't just be about a health issue that's going to improve our health, but economically it's going to improve us, improve the livelihoods. I know very many people who are benefiting, gaining from making charcoal briquettes, but how is it made? From the waste.
Sure. Thank you. You want to make a point, please, quickly, as I get to Alan.
Well, I come from one of the beautiful and clean cities, Fort Portal. Like, Fort Portal is the most cleanest city based on the statistics in Uganda. When you reach on the city, at least one thing that other cities can learn from. First, there are trash cans everywhere. Number two, people have been habituated seeing the city clean. Even you, when you reach there, it's very hard for you to litter, because there is nowhere in litter you can see. So you easily find, where can I put this? So that should be needed. Number two, as I finalize, we are running a program called the Campus Climate Innovation Challenge Program, whereby we are calling upon innovators, young innovators and investors to come and invest in problems that can help solve environmental conditions in our health here in Makerere University.
Thank you, Alan. You see, the Kampala Capital City Authority is running a campaign called the Weyonje campaign, and it has been going on for a long time, actually. Here we are with now national feeding into this one. But he talked about the involvement of the family, and I want to build it. The different stakeholders in society. Yes, the family, yes, religious institutions, yes, cultural institutions. We do know there is a series of things that have been managed at that level. Uganda Kingdom, for example, runs a campaign against HIV, and we have seen the contribution made at that level. They made another campaign about hepatitis B. We know how much was achieved at that level. Church has done the same in education, in healthcare, etc. How can these different stakeholders in society be leveraged to see that we actually register success in this activity?
Now there is this popular saying that charity begins at home. Family is the smallest but most fundamental unit of the community. If something is built on the family, which is the foundation, it's really hard to uproot. So for parents, children learn from what you do, more from what you do, what they see you do, than what you tell them, do this. So it's going to start with us who have people who are looking up to us. You're a mother, you're a father, you're a guardian, you're a teacher, you're in an organization and you hold a role. How are you managing waste? How are you managing cleanliness around your family? Are you the parent when you're taking your children for dinner at Cafe Javas and you've maybe eaten a snack? You're the one throwing it through the window, and a P3 child is going to look at you and say, this is how it's done. I'm also going to be throwing it out.
I never get tired of telling this example. One time on Old Chila Road, we were driving behind a ministerial convoy, and this person, whoever was in the convoy, I don't want to say, threw out a Renzori water bottle through the window, and
my God. So we need to really reach a point that systems are built from family. that you're going to reach out. Okay, we really values of the value system cannot really be pure in all persons, but at least if we have 70% of the families and the communities that are raising children, schools impact these values in the young ones as they are growing up, we'll reach a stage. It may not be worked out in a day or two or a fortnight, but we will reach a stage as a nation that even littering a compound or a street is something like a crime or something that you do and you feel like you've done a sin. Yeah. So for parents, families, if you have someone that is under your care, you practice that value so that they can see what this family we don't litter the compound. Then for the schools,
as you conclude on that.
Oh yeah. For the schools, children spend so much time in schools than they spend with their parents, and teachers have that opportunity or a privilege to impart the values they want to impart in children as they are growing up. Abanyankole have a saying, when you bend a tree, when it's old, it will break. So we can start with the primary schools. We have cleaning projects, we have waste management projects, like he has been saying. We incorporate these projects in our competence-based curriculum, even at church, and yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Very interesting points, but unfortunately our time is really out. But let me say, this is a very great conversation we are having here today, and certainly you do hear the thoughts of the leaders I have here, and indeed what they think should be done at the different levels to make our society better. Mr. Akakunda Allen, thank you so much for joining us and for the great thoughts you have shared with us today. You didn't, English teacher, I didn't mention the school, but we appreciate that you are here.
They didn't pay me to advertise.
I like that. Mr. Jacob Junior Munghesi, thank you so much for joining us and for the knowledge you've shared with us, and indeed fortunate Tumwesigye, thank you so much for your time and for the thoughts you have shared with us today. And to our viewers, thank you so much for being with us today. Honor the Uganda we want. We promise to continue making deliberations that push to that direction until we get to that Uganda that we want. A special thanks to the Interreligious Council of Uganda and to the production team for being a part of this. My name is Philip Muliisa, and a very good afternoon.